Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I really enjoy making videos about the environment, sustainability. So today I wanted to talk about thrifting. When I first started trying to be a more sustainable person, one of the first things that I did was, of course, shopping secondhand whenever I could. I almost entirely stopped buying fast fashion. Nowadays, the only times I really buy like clothing firsthand is if it's like underwear. Thrifting for me has been a major part in trying to live more sustainably, and I've noticed something over the years that is really worrying, troublesome, and that thing is the prices, specifically at really big thrift stores like Goodwill, Savers, places like that. The prices have just been increasing just weirdly, and I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why. I'll talk about why in the video, but it's just really it angers me how high the prices have gotten. So some examples that I've seen, I saw a guitar at Goodwill for like $100. Obviously guitars are pretty like high value items, so that's probably why they price it so high. But keep in mind they got this for free, so pricing it at $100 is pricing out so many low-income people who maybe your kid really wanted to play the guitar, but you can't afford a brand new one. So you go to Goodwill, you see a guitar, it's $100. You can't afford that. If they had just priced it at like, I don't know, $20, that would allow way more people to be able to purchase that guitar. I've also seen furniture prices be really high. This is everything from couches to even like bookcases, things like that, where you used to be able to find them for $10, $15, and now they're pricing them at like $50, $100, $200. And it's rivaling the prices of like antique stores. The other one that I see a lot is of course clothing, because that's mostly what I buy when I thrift. These stores are for low-income people, but now they're pricing it for middle and high-income people. And this gets me to the point of why I think the stores are increasing. So many people are buying from thrift stores that the people at the top, the people who determine the prices, are pricing for middle and high income people. They know people like me who, I'm not rich, I'm definitely more middle income, but I can go to a thrift store and see something that's a little overpriced for what it is, and I'll still buy it. Even though they got it for free, I can still afford a $10 shirt, a $15 bookcase, things like that. Versus the people who these stores were created for, it's not like they all of a sudden have more money to be able to go to a thrift store and pay these higher prices. They don't have that money. Thrift store owners don't really care because they see the value in increasing prices because it's increasing their profits. And this is why you see oftentimes too, if you go to a thrift store and you see something that's name brand, they have started increasing the prices on those specific items. It's pricing out a lot of people to be able to afford these name brand items. It's this never ending cycle of thrift stores increasing prices, seeing that people are still buying at these higher prices, and then continuing to increase prices. It's really insane. And I saw like discourse back in the day where people were saying that, oh, the increasing prices are because influencers or like Depop girlies are going in and buying all the inventory, so they have to increase prices because there's less inventory. And I'd say that's really not the case, because the thing with thrift stores is that it's a never-ending cycle of items. Like, they will never run out of things to sell. Thrift stores literally cycle through things so quickly. They throw so many things out because people, consumers, always have things to send to a thrift store when they're not using them anymore. And so thrift stores have an infinite amount of items to sell. Like, they're not increasing prices because they don't have enough things to sell. That's really not it. And they're also not increasing prices because of inflation, because there's no inflation at thrift stores. They get things for free. In fact, they get things dropped off, so they don't even have to go around picking things up to sell. These things they're receiving them for free from people who think they're donating to a charity, and then they're turning around and marking things up really high so they can make a profit off of it. It's really just a testament on how capitalism just turns everything good into something absolutely horrendous, and money kind of getting in the way of something that could actually be helping people. Thrift stores have just turned into something where they're trying to make as much money as they can off of something that was supposed to be helping people. There are a couple things that I've been doing that you can also do to kind of mediate this. The first thing is I've kind of looked more towards like Facebook Marketplace and more like online places. But the thing is, like, I don't like shopping online, and I've also seen too on Facebook Marketplace where there's tons and tons of ads of like brand new items, even though I'm not going on Facebook Marketplace to be sold things on AliExpress. If I'm looking for something on Facebook Marketplace, I'm looking for something used because it's probably more affordable, and I'm trying not to feed into consumerism. I was trying to talk about solutions, but another issue that I've seen with like secondhand shopping is even on places like Poshmark or Depop or even Etsy, which is supposed to be for like brand, like handmade items, where people have taken advantage of these sites to sell brand new items that they bought off AliExpress or like these cheap websites, and then they're reselling them.
These products aren't magically finding their way onto the marketplace. They're being wrongfully placed there by sellers who don't align with the true nature of Etsy. And yes, it definitely weakens the trust for both buyers and sellers, which is why it's important to acknowledge what an absolutely astronomical problem resellers on Etsy truly are.
And once again, it's really frustrating because I'm going on these sites specifically for secondhand items. That's what these sites are supposed to be for, but they've become inundated with like brand new really cheap items, and it's really frustrating once again. But that is an option so that you can filter for the prices that you can afford, and you can try to find things on there. But I think for me, Facebook Marketplace has been the place where I can find more affordable items. You kind of have to sift through, but you can find pretty cheap items and free items as well. And there's also no-buy groups. I've done a couple for Minneapolis where people will literally just give things away, which I think is a better model, instead of giving it to a thrift store to like add $30.
Like, it's not the vibe. Stop!
So no-buy groups are a great option for you to give things away or for you to try to find items. I think it's the sense of community. The sense of community in these spaces is really, it makes me really happy because I love seeing people just basically sharing, like, I don't need this item, so I'm going to give it to someone who needs it and is going to use it more than I do. And then the other option is redistribution centers. I've only seen Goodwill ones, but I'm sure there's other redistribution centers. There's ones that will literally resell things like that are from like Target returns or like Walmart returns, which are also a great option. But I've only been to the ones that are like Goodwill redistribution centers. I actually got this little table and the little cloth on top of it from Goodwill for $1, like the Goodwill outlet in St. Paul. You can find really good items there. You just have to sift through a lot of things, and it kind of begs the question, why, like, the Goodwill redistribution centers are basically where when a Goodwill is done with using their items, they'll send it to a redistribution center as like a last attempt to get it sold, and then they'll throw it out. So it's like, why didn't you just sell these for cheap? Because it's showing that you can. And redistribution centers, normally things are priced at per pound, like for clothing and stuff, and then for furniture items it'll be per item. So like this was literally $1. But those are just a couple solutions for people who are trying to buy more affordable secondhand items, or if you're trying to give away items and you don't want to feed into the thrift store model. Some things that you can do. Garage sales are another big one. I actually there was like a neighborhood garage sale a couple weeks ago that I went to, and I picked up a couple items. I got this little frame here for $2. I got this game of Clue for like $2. I think I got some earrings for like $1, like really, really low prices. Versus like if I had gone to Goodwill, I would have probably spent like $20 for those 3 items and then looked at the receipt like, why am I paying this much? You guys got these things for free.
You are dumb, unattractive, overweight, unworthy, untalented.
But those are just some solutions. But now let's talk about the capitalism of it all and what I think should be done when it comes to these thrift store companies, because they cannot continue to make us suffer. The people at a nonprofit, right, should not be profiting. Obviously, like, it's a job, so people gotta get paid. People have to make a living like even if you're the CEO of a thrift store. But why are they millionaires? They should not be millionaires. The thrift store model is meant to be charity. It's meant to help people. So if the people at the top are millionaires, that means that there's people at the bottom who are suffering, and this includes the workers, because oftentimes, like specifically for Goodwills, there's a lot of controversy around them and paying employees, specifically disabled employees, paying them less than minimum wage. There's a lot of abuse in these systems. They also use volunteer workers. So why do you have millionaire CEOs when the people at the bottom aren't even being paid? Make that make sense, first of all. And then also the other people suffering are the people who are having to pay more and more for these items just so that it can line the pockets of the people at the top who are doing literally nothing. I'd be a little less pressed if thrift stores were increasing prices and then the money was going back to the community, but we know it's not. This money is not going back to the community. It's not going back to help people. It's lining their pockets, and then they're also turning around and continuing to increase prices. And the other thing that I think should be done is we should move more towards the model of free stores. A free store is basically, as name entails, a store where you can go and pick things up for free. I'm pretty sure most of the times you have to they have means testing. I think we should move more towards a model like that, because like I said, there's literally millions, billions, tons of things just going to the landfill, and there's people who are struggling to furnish their apartment. When they don't sell it, they literally just throw it away. It's Alright, my blood pressure is going up. But yeah, I think if we move more towards the model of a free store, the employees are paid obviously for their work and time, but the items are dropped off for free and people are able to go in and get things that they need. And then when they move, they can bring things back to the free store. I honestly think that's the utopia. Having spaces like this where you can basically just exchange items, kind of like the no buy group like on Facebook, but in person. It would honestly make the logistics a lot easier so that you don't have to be negotiating with strangers and doing pickups and stuff. But you just go to a store, you can look at all the items, pick out what you need, and I don't know, I just think that would be so much better. I don't know, what do you guys think? That was it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Right now, I'm actually working on an apartment tour because as you can see, I'm in a new space. Thank you so much for my patrons for helping make amazing content. The link is going to be in the description where you can support me on there. I'm also going to have a link to my Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all of that in the description. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, everyone.